Hello everyone. Today the topic is multiplying fractions. Before we get started, I want you to pause the video so that you can copy down the steps for multiplying fractions right here. Once you have finished copying those down, press play on the video and we'll look at some example problems. Our first example problem is 3/5 times 2/3. First step for solving this problem, we're going to multiply the numerators. 3 times 2. The numerators are the numbers on the top of a fraction. Okay, 3 times 2 gives us 6. Next, we're going to multiply the denominators, or the bottom numbers on the fractions. 5 times 3 is 15. Last, we're going to simplify. 6 and 15 share a common factor. It is 3. So we're going to divide both of those numbers by 3, and we wind up with 2 as our numerator and 5 as our denominator. 2 and 5 do not share a common factor, therefore it cannot be simplified, which means 2/5 is our final answer. Our next example involves multiplying a fraction by a whole number. So we have 5 times 1/2. Anytime we have a whole number and we're multiplying it by a fraction, we can simply make that whole number into a fraction by adding the fraction line and placing a 1 underneath. That works for any whole number. Now we can multiply it just like we did before. The numerators, 5 and 1, we multiply those together, we get 5. The denominators, 1 and 2, we multiply those together, we get 2. Now we have what's called an improper fraction. In order to write that in simplest form, we're going to divide 5 by 2 in this case. We wind up with 2 and 1/2. Our next example is 3/5 times 4. Just like we talked about before, since the 4 is a whole number, we can make it into a fraction by adding the fraction line and a 1. We multiply the numerators, 3 and 4. Sorry, that's a little difficult to read. We get 12. And the denominators, 5 and 1, multiply those together, we get 5. So let's talk a little bit about how to convert this 12/5 into what's known as a mixed number so that it'll be in simplest form. So, like I said, we had 12/5. That means we have 12 divided by 5. Well, 5 goes into 12 2 times. 2 times 5 is 10. We get a remainder of 2. Now, there are a couple things that we could do with this answer. However, today, since we're talking about fractions, we're going to make our answer into a fraction, or since we have a remainder, we're going to make it into a fraction. So this number up here, that's going to be the big number for the mixed number, and this remainder of 2 is going to be the top portion of our fraction, and whatever number we divided by is going to be the bottom number of our fraction. This is what's called a mixed number. Anytime we have an improper fraction like this as our answer, we must convert it to a mixed number. Okay? A mixed number consists of a whole number, which in this case is the 2, and a fraction, which in this case is the 2/5. We can't simplify a whole number, but we can simplify a fraction. In this case, 2/5 cannot be simplified, so our final answer is in fact 2 2/5. And for our last example, we have 3/8 times 3/5. Our numerators, 3 and 3, we multiply those together, we get 9. Our denominators, 8 and 5, we multiply those together and we get 40. 9 and 40 do not share a common factor, Therefore, it cannot be simplified, so our final answer, 9/40. If you have any questions, make sure that you write them down and bring them with you to class tomorrow.